we still trade with like kings of Thailand and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like monarchies and stuff.
Oh yeah, we do that too. But when people don't want to trade, or if we have the opportunity to invade, not we, but the powers that be.
The powers that be.
If there's a reason, they'll go in to secure, the resources. And on that note, welcome back to Drag the Waters, everybody. Two Texas bros dragging the waters for all the cool shit and all the bullshit. This is a lovely, bittersweet episode, our Sweet 16, because it's the final episode.
Episode.
Time we took this podcast out back.
And had it shot.
And shoot it. I'm not going to have it shot. I'm going to do the shooting myself.
Put it down like Old Yeller.
With love.
All right, hold on. I just want to open this up with a poem.
All right, let's hear it.
The spots of the leopard are the sunlight in the glade. Pursue thou the deer stealthily at thy pleasure. The dappling of the deer is the sunlight in the glade. Concealed from the leopard do thou feed at thy pleasure. Resemble all that surroundeth thee, yet be thyself, and take thy pleasure among the living. This is that which is written, lurk in the book of the law. Aleister Crowley.
Right on. It sounded beautiful. It went in and out the other for me. That's how I have to read it.
I don't even know what the fuck happened.
Yeah. Fuck, I just blacked out. Got possessed by the devil. But yeah, we were we're Drag the Waters is I'm your host Aaron James, sitting here with the best bro.
What's going on, Lurker Mario?
Lurker Mario, yeah. And still representing Central Texas. We are actually pivoting to a new podcast after this week when the lunar conditions are more favorable to new podcast.
Right.
New ventures.
So like through the magic of the universe, the time is right to end this 16th episode.
Sure. Call it that. We just want to pivot our strategy and change our brand. There's already another Drag the Waters podcast, talking about Pantera or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Plus we're competing with Pantera. It's really a business decision.
Right.
So be on the lookout next week for the Machiavellian Monkeys podcast.
Yeah.
All free shit, free community, free content. We won't be begging for money because we won't have to.
Right.
So look at that. But since we're talking about Machiavellian Monkeys, we have the portable Machiavelli here. And we were, when we opened this episode, we were talking about, on mixed principalities. Talking about how, we ain't read the Machiavellian yet, but just the idea, it sounds like multiculturalism, which most of us know is, it's been pretty bad. A lot of good has come from it, but we are failing really bad at pluralism, which is supposed to be like tolerance and stuff.
Oh.
But now we have this intolerance of intolerance, which is, ridiculous. The whole
forced integration
to that.
Right.
But we've talked in the past about how when you get like different ethnic groups together with different, I don't know if it's just a matter of ethnic groups, you get like more crime and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
People closer together. Because I don't know if that's if you adjust for like economic differences, if that's the same.
I think that's from what I understand, when there's the largest discrepancies in wealth, you have more crime.
Because the opportunity is there.
Right.
If everyone's broke, you're not going to be able to get anything off anybody that you don't already have.
Mm-hmm.
But if, Rolls Royce with the fancy radio or whatever in it, not that people are still stealing radios, never even heard about stealing radios, except on TV as a kid,
right. Or if you have like an avenue, like let's say you live in a poor neighborhood or whatever, but like you're making money because you're selling drugs to like
rich people,
and then
that's just good business, bro.
But then other people are going to see that and
it's their turf,
want some action, and then that all escalates.
It's a bummer, but obviously maybe we're working out the whole pluralism thing. Which is supposed to be like having multiple cultures, semi confederated together
Mm-hmm.
as one. You know, it's supposed to be in integral theory. It's one of the highest levels. It's what they call the green, which is tainted by postmodernism, and then devolves back down. Because we lived through like the Enlightenment, right?
Yeah.
You know, universalism.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all man is created equal.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like, I forget what color they represented it as, but that was like the level up. The level below that, because every stage is associated with a level of society. So the universalism is like liberalism, modern liberalism, the good kind, libertarian or whatever.
Libertarianism.
You know, what people will call classical liberalism, whether correctly or incorrectly, you know.
Right.
Tolerance, freedom, every man, that stuff. Below that level is ethno-nationalism, so tribalism.
Okay.
Which is how we progress through time. You know, you start off as because like the lower levels is like associated with magical thinking,
Okay.
like a child, and then it progresses to mythic literalism.
Mm-hmm.
So people read the Bible, actually believe that Moses parted the Red Sea. And then you get to the
drugs
universalism, which is like, this is obviously like a, what they call it, like a parable, not necessarily like defy physics.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a story to gain like moral truth from.
Right. It's terrorist. Yeah.
And then Stoici, you have like the tribalism, ethno-nationalism, our tribe is better than yours. Then you have within that the universalism says all men are created equal. And then above that's the pluralism idea, which is like seeking that universalism in other cultures, not just your own.
Okay.
So it's not just a universal Christian God. Now you can see like the parallels between Hinduism, Buddhism,
mm-hmm.
Christianity, Islam. You start recognizing these universal values across all cultures, and they should all be able to coexist peacefully as a pluralist anyway. And above that's integral, which is weird. And I'm not an integral expert. I remember when I first discovered this stuff, I was like, wow, this is quite fascinating. The progression of societies can also parallel with the progression of the individual and the child. It goes from magical thinking to these other stages of development.
So what's integralism?
Integral theory was started by Ken Wilber, I believe. And it's one of those, he's like, I don't remember if he was like a psychologist or what. He was like his specialties were in consciousness. I think he was like a Buddhist or something for like a long time.
Okay.
He's also a weightlifter, a bodybuilder.
That's tight.
And so yeah, he's a cool dude. And he just had these. I read his book No Boundaries, which is a tremendous spiritual book that very much gave me a positive impact. No Boundaries, talking about like, I mean, it's the basic meditative process. You recognize the body as itself. You try to integrate the body. Then you have to integrate the mind. Then you have to integrate the shadow. And then you have to integrate something else, or maybe the mind and the ego. And it's called different. These are all different levels of consciousness: body consciousness versus your mental consciousness, and then the shadow, which is the repressed part of the mind, and stuff like that. And then eventually you get to No Boundary, where it's not just your organism. You go. That's the boundary transcends your mind, and then it's everything. You have the mystical experience of like enlightenment. And in integral theory, he says that like not only do you have this spiritual, he calls it growing up and waking up. So growing up is advancing through the developmental stages. Waking up is the spiritual component of that.
Mm.
And he says people, and you don't have to do them, they're not in parallel for every person. So you can wake up before you grow up and sometimes end up with like an enlightened Nazi is how he would say it.
Mm.
So because like you can have the mystical experience at any level of development. And if you're not aware of these two parallel growth tracks, essentially, you can end up interpreting your experience to like, can become an attachment to a developmental stage that will inhibit your growth.
Okay.
So it's like, it doesn't matter if you're like a racist and you have a mystical experience, you might interpret that in a bad way, you know, because you haven't progressed through the other stages of development.
Okay. Well, when I think about the problem with what is it, pluralism? Was that what we were talking about? Integration. and multiculturalism in the United States.
Yeah.
I think the main issue now is the attack on Western values and like just writing it off as if it's white supremacy.
Oh yeah.
Right. Because I mean, the best thing about this country, and people that immigrate here would agree, is, or no, I guess that's generalization, but the umbrella that we're all created equal, and having that libertarianism where you can do your own thing as long as other people aren't bothering you. And I mean, really the problem is just saying that that's racist and then trying to like take that away and put postmodernism in it, because people naturally will integrate with themselves. I mean, there's other countries, like I think it's Singapore has like there's no private property or something like that. People go into government housing, and then the government housing distributes the culture by the percentage of the culture that you're on. So if you're living in a building, that building is going to have 90% Southeast Asian, and then like 2% black, and then 1% white, or like whatever the local demo is, it's going to like put that. And
okay, so
it's like really forced
equitable.
integration. Yeah. Versus like in the United States, people like, they want to be, especially immigrants, they want to be around their own people, but they want to live the American dream, right? They want to like have the American values and like do all the American stuff and integrate into American society and our culture. And but they want to be in like Chinatown, or like Little Mexico, Little Russia, you know.
Well, being a Chinese American is very different from being a Chinese person in China. Mm-hmm. Like the framework is completely different. There's no reason why they shouldn't be able to bring their culture, have their community, and still enjoy the benefits of, you know, American markets, you know, or the political system or whatever.
Yeah, own their own guns and
all that stuff. You know, but that's what I was saying, is that about the integral theory thing. The cool insight from Ken Wilber is that those pluralists, they're not really pluralists. They have regressed back to the ethno-national mindset,
right?
Except
because now they want forced segregation.
Well, it's not even that. It's the ideological tribe. So it's not a matter of like,
because forced segregation or forced integration, both, just the problem is the force.
Yeah. It's unnecessary. Let people integrate who want to integrate and be better for it. Yeah. You know, people who don't, why the fuck do you want to be hanging out with them anyway? Yeah.
And set the standard. I think one of the weirdest things, I was at like it was in the cult school I was in. They were talking about, what is it, colonialist thinking or some shit like that. And they were talking about doing a seminar with a Native American tribe, or Pacific Islander tribe or something like that. And they had created the structure, and it was like, it was supposed to start at 1, and then at 2 o'clock they were supposed to do this, and at 3 o'clock they were supposed to do this. And then they ended up getting into a big argument because in other cultures it's okay to show up late, or like it's okay to show up early, or like the ritual takes this long and they didn't allow time for the ritual.
Yeah, it's not a hard,
or some shit.
It's a different, I don't know if it's time preference, but I learned about it in intercultural communication. It's just a different, they care more about not that being on time. It's about, if you come across someone on your way to a party, you stay and talk to the people as long as you have to. Right. And then you go to the party when you're done. It's not like, oh, I got to leave and go to this thing because I have to. It's like, it's the way of life is just different. Right. So here it's like, you got to be on time. I want you here at 9. You know, if you tell, like, in different cultures, be like, I need you here at 9, and they show up at like noon, like, it's like, well, I was on my way, like, and then something happened. Right. So.
But I mean, I don't see nothing wrong with that. But I'm seeing some like if we're having a business meeting, and like you're supposed to be there at 9, and I'm going to be paying you to be there at 9.
Well, that's the thing.
Like, you need to fucking be there
for
at
like
9. You know what I'm saying?
For economic competitive purposes, the hard time is what I'm going to call it. Is much more. It's a better technology than soft time. And some people in the occult community will say that this hard time stuff came from the Anunnaki.
Oh, for real?
So they can, make the slaves work to get more gold.
Oh, that makes sense.
For their spaceships.
Yeah, I'm down for that.
So that's why they invented time is slave labor. In fact, in this book, The Chaos Protocols, they say management theory and stuff like business management theory came from like overseeing slave farms and stuff because they had the labor there. So you had the foreman or whatever, the taskmaster, the cracker, or whatever you want to call them.
Right.
How to get more productive. All the productivity hacks that we learn about trying to be like better entrepreneurs, whatever. How to be better slaves.
Heard that.
So.
No, I see that.
And dude,
I guess, dude. I mean, Elon Musk is a billionaire. He's like, I plan out my day 5 minutes at a time. Like,
yeah, but not everyone.
That's
not everyone's that autistic, bro.
Yeah.
Like, not everyone's growing up, putting stuff in a straight line.
Right.
But I was gonna say, colonialism isn't. I mean, there was a lot of productive stuff in the culture.
I thought the main problem with the story was that it was just a lack of communication. It's like clearly the people that were setting up the event didn't communicate properly with the people who
how much time they'd need.
Yeah, so it was just a poor example. Yeah, what the fuck were we talking about?
Pluralism. Talking about in your cult school.
Multiculturalism. Yeah.
In your cult school, there was like. You had a colonialism day, and they got some Native American or Indian person to come in.
It was just weird, man. It was just weird.
I learned a new acronym lately.
What's that?
API.
What's that?
Asian Pacific Islander.
It's not actions per... No, that's APM. Actions per minute.
No, API.
Oh, no, it's AAPI. Asian American Pacific Islanders.
Well, I've only seen an API.
Okay.
And I read it like API Day, API Appreciation Day. I was like, what the fuck is API?
I was playing fucking Apex Legends, and they gave me a badge, Stop Asian Hate, like a banner to put on my character.
It's like stop paying the goddamn Chinese.
Yeah.
I hate Asians.
Dude, that's just so fucking
just
weird.
The CCP.
It's just fucking propaganda, man. Like, you can't... It's just all day, every day, music. Like, oh, man, dude, TV... It's hard to just get a fucking story nowadays, bro.
This is why postmodernism exists. Because the media, the postmodernism exists because of the evolution of media and media consumption. We can like create content about content, and like we're just aware. That's why the whole like the next generation can be super ironic, because like, oh, stop Asian hate, and it's like, do they really mean that?
Yeah.
Or are they just being postmodern about it?
Right.
Like, it's not about creating the art anymore. It's about making the statement that your art sucks, and I want to create shitty art because show you that art sucks.
Yeah.
You know, and stuff like that. That's why we get all this weird stuff.
Just want to have fun, man. Whatever, just having
like Rick and Morty,
pleasure,
postmodern.
Fun. Yeah, dude. Well, Rick and Morty, man, I loved the first couple seasons. And then it just got too like...
I think season 3 was the best, personally.
Yeah.
Season 4 was...
Yeah, it just got too nihilistic and like... There's no point or whatever. And it's encouraging people to like live the shittiest version of their life. So I'm just like, whatever, bro. Like...
I don't look for a moral in Rick and Morty. I look for fun.
Yeah.
So,
I suppose, man.
You know.
It's like what are you going to put... It's like, man, it's like what your diet is, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're eating grass-fed beef all the time, you're going to be like having a healthy diet. If you're fucking eating donuts and Little Caesars every day.
Yeah, you get fat quick.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
don't do that.
That's the same thing. So it's like reading books or watching TV, listening to music, whatever. Like sometimes I just listen to virtuoso music with no words because it's like, it feels like colors in my brain.
Yeah.
Instead of like, but I'll also listen to gangster rap where I'm talking about breaking people off and like
being rich,
Yeah.
and winning.
Tipping on foes, bro. Like,
I listen to Colin Mikla a lot, but
Yeah.
they sing in Icelandic, so I just get this 80s vibe.
Yeah.
And it was to beautiful Icelandic girls singing to me,
Dude.
rolling their R's.
man,
So nice.
Iceland. I mean, I don't know what Icelandic girls look like.
White as hell.
Well, I imagine so. Yeah, but like, I thought up north, there's like European countries where like the women are really like butch looking.
They're everywhere, bro.
Because they gotta like work on the farm or whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah, it's
At
everywhere.
the village, dude.
Yeah, man, everywhere. They
Nah.
got their good-looking people, and they got their bad-looking
I
people.
guess. I mean,
Some are more famous than others.
right.
Eastern European, we know them for their beautiful women, but we don't look at Olga
Right.
working the potato farm.
Yeah.
British people,
Remember,
known
they
for
just
being ugly.
age bad, dude. Like Asian people,
Yeah.
they like look young for a long time, and then Jet Li ages like 20, 30 years in like 6 months or whatever.
Well, you also hear black don't crack, and I've seen some old black ladies
dude.
that look like, damn, like you look old.
Yeah, it's bad, dude. It's bad.
So it's just genetics,
Father
man.
Time, dude. Yeah, Father Time just beats people to death with the ugly stick.
Yeah, it's unavoidable eventually.
Mhm.
Except maybe your miracle pill will get created and it can stave it off for another 100 years.
Yeah, that'd be good.
It's like that's exactly what we need: 100 more years of tyrants to live.
Well, we know like that the rich people in California are putting like
They're vampires,
they're
bro.
putting young people's blood in
Fucking
their bodies.
vampires, bro.
Yeah. That
Peter
shit's
Thiel's a
crazy.
vampire.
Peter Thiel. Who's Peter Thiel?
He did PayPal. Eric Weinstein is his like hedge fund manager,
Oh, really?
and yeah, he's just a famous tech dude. If you get into like the high productivity culture, like you read the Tim Ferriss book, he's in there.
Okay.
He's just one of those guys the technocrats that's like trying to live forever.
Okay.
Because
gotcha.
I don't know, I gotta live more so I can produce more and not hate and still hate myself.
Fuck, dude, yeah.
And do all the mushrooms.
Oh man.
And,
I imagine all those people are on Adderall all the time, dude.
Yeah, Adderall, while simultaneously microdosing LSD and psilocybin.
That sounds like too much, bro. I remember the one time I was on Adderall, I felt like a fucking robot, dude. I was like, I hadn't slept all day, so I was like, I think I ended up being up for like, what the fuck, like 32 hours, 36 hours, something like that. Like
On
a
one
long
dose?
time.
Or-
No.
They're like, take 3 of these.
No. So what was it? What was happening, man? So this was like in my early 20s. I was working at BJ's Brew House, man, and I was training this guy. Yeah, dude, the beach. I was training this guy on this station, and he was like, he knew about 48 Laws of Power. Me and him were just like, fucking getting it, bro, knocking it down on appetizer
You
salad.
want 48 Laws of Power?
Yeah, bro. And he was like, it was
48
like,
hours for you right
don't
there.
outshine the master. I was like, oh, this guy. Anyway, yeah, we were chilling. We closed that night, and I was working a double the next day, and I was like, we went and had beers afterwards, and I wasn't going home. And by the time we were done drinking, it was like, oh man, I got to go to work in like 2 hours, bro. And then he was prescribed Adderall. So he gave me one, and it was it was like slow release or something like that. So it happened like all day. Dude, I remember like it was a struggle getting into work. But once I was there, bro, it was like, I think it was one of my most productive days on no sleep. And I was like getting these salads out in like 20 seconds and getting everything out was like ready. Dude, it was insane. I felt like a robot. So I couldn't imagine being a robot on
It's like, I didn't build the salad today.
acid, bro.
God built
Yeah.
that salad.
It's like, boom.
He used me as his instrument.
Yeah, man.
It's
Like,
tall and beautiful.
I couldn't realize. I understand why people would get addicted to that stuff, man. Because like, I'd only done it the one time, and I felt like super powerful, man.
Oh, yeah.
Superpowers.
Yeah, I mean, what does any businessman? It kills your emotions,
Yeah.
makes you stay awake.
And I mean, it makes sense that they gave it to all of like the Nazis and the pilots and
Yeah, the meth.
World War II. Yeah. It's just like, go, bro. Couldn't imagine like going through a town and killing everybody and then like smoking cigarettes and doing Adderall all day.
Well, I think it'd be nice if you could get Adderall, like from a doctor over counter. Be like, hey, I'm gonna have a hard shift. Can I get an Adderall for tomorrow?
Right. They're just like,
You know.
here you go. Well, yeah, drugs should be legal for sure, but
You know.
yeah, no buts.
Yes. If you're gonna abuse it, you're gonna abuse it.
Yeah.
Or maybe you're just gonna be a dope ass worker. Who
Yeah.
knows?
Boom.
It's like, I mean, performance enhancing drugs, man.
Mhm.
Like, why not?
Yeah. I mean, it's only bad in competition, really. Like, you don't want...
In fair competition.
Yeah, like in martial arts, it's a great example. Like, you don't want people all juiced to the gills, because then they're going to kill each other.
Well, I mean, they are.
No, I mean, I don't think there's been a death in mixed martial arts.
Well, not a death, but I'm saying, like, they're on every drug they can get away with taking.
I suppose.
I mean, I have Delta 8 THC in my bag.
Sounds nice.
It's not.
Oh,
I mean, it is nice in a way.
unfortunate.
It's like CBD plus,
Okay.
but it's lacking the juice.
Mm,
Like, I get the feeling in my eyes, like I'm getting
like tingly.
getting stoned. Like,
Right.
it gets that, like, it's like,
Okay.
oh yeah, it's just taking effect.
Got you.
But it's a sativa blend. Like, but
But it's not.
the creativity isn't
But
there,
it's not.
and the paranoia isn't there.
Well, that's good. At least the paranoia is not there.
So I mean, it's good for people who just want to relax and don't want to get high or
Right.
get very. You get like the
Body high.
5%
But
high.
not couch lock.
I mean, you might as well just smoke CBD,
Right.
unless you're like, I want something more. Then you go to Delta 8.
Right.
But for someone who's like looking for that creativity and the ideas and the other stuff, the paranoia, if people like the paranoia or use the paranoia, Delta 8's not good enough. Or just try it out, see if it works for your body. It doesn't work for me. And then my tolerance, like, I feel like with CBD and Delta 8, like the first time you smoke it, you get like something a little good. But if I keep using it, like I smoke weed regularly, tolerance shoots up. But I don't have that problem with the real Colorado shit,
Heard that. Oh, yeah, man.
with the real devil's lettuce.
Just nice. Need to go back over there. Maybe next year.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's not. I won't be buying it again.
Heard that.
So I just wanted to see what's out, and if they had it, and they had it at the coffee shop. So I was like, fuck it,
Done.
you know. So hopefully we'll be getting the real shit soon here in Texas.
Yeah, that'll be nice.
And then I got some business phone calls to make.
Yeah, you need to get your like liquor license. Get your Bud license.
Yeah,
Yeah.
do that. Probably start a.
You're not gonna be able to get a loan though. That's the problem.
I might not need a huge loan. Like I said, maybe for like the actual dispensary part, if we work with that. But I might be. Someone else probably already has all that licensing, and then I could probably just value
Well, no, 'cause
arbitrate.
you got to get the licensing for Texas.
We have
Because it's state. So like a California company or a Colorado company or whatever, they'd have to come in. They'd have to get the Texas licensure, and they have to get the Texas permits
yeah.
and all that stuff. And then you're not going to be able to get a loan because it's federally banned. So you won't be able, and it'll have to be a cash economy. So a lot of the times, like the dispensaries will have ATMs in the building and stuff like that, and then safes and safe houses.
Well, luckily there's rich people who want to have
That want
money,
it.
and there's going to be other people that do have money, and I can just go to them and be like, hey, I have this idea. I could run it in parallel with your dispensary as a subsidiary of your company, or you can just sponsor it or whatever, and then you can make extra money from this membership program attached to the game shop. Or
Right.
maybe I can just go to this game shop over here and this dispensary over here and be like, hey, let's all make something to make this private club.
Right. You just got to, I guess you just got to come up with like a portfolio and
Once you got to
and a
get
business
the right
plan.
people, business plan, get to your marketing strategy
yeah.
and stuff like that. But
Because that shit sells itself, bro. Like, I remember when I moved up to Washington, it was the first year it was legal.
Mm-hmm.
And this little place, it was just one store at this like strip on the corner in between like two small towns going towards Seattle. And it was like on a major commute intersection.
Mm-hmm.
And then like when I left, it owned the whole strip mall, bro. It was like the whole thing
Oh, yeah.
was that dispensary, bro. Like,
That'd
it
be
was
nice.
wild.
But I'm also starting to think I might I might have to use it socially.
Mm-hmm.
Like even just doing this stuff at home, I'm using it habitually. I'm afraid if I go apply for a job, I might still piss dirty.
Oh yeah.
Even though it's technically legal. So that might be a thing.
Well, why don't you just take a test?
What do you mean? Like home test?
Yeah.
I'll probably just do that then.
Yeah, because the state tests and the job tests use the same thing. Because you got to think of it like they're gonna want to buy the cheapest thing. They're not gonna want to spend a bunch of money to see if you're pissing dirty. Right.
And I was saying that I think I might just be outgrowing like weed anyway. I mean, it's fun with friends where you can get around and like make jokes and stuff.
But if you're just by yourself, like playing games, smoking weed all day. Like,
yeah, if you're not using it productively for creative purposes, then it gets in the way. I prefer tobacco and caffeine.
Heard that. Oh yeah, coffee.
Or coffee and tobacco.
Oh my god, bro.
Yeah. And I guess maybe those because they're more addictive. I don't know, man, but the relaxation I get from tobacco is better than the clarity. Actually, if I mix the two together, it's really nice.
Spliff.
So yeah, spliff it up. You know, Delta 8's not good enough for you. Put in a little bit of tobacco.
Yeah, bro.
And it gets you going.
Another thing, I remember we used to spliff, me and a buddy of mine, and because I would hold the smoke in a little longer, like 2 seconds or 3 seconds.
You get sick?
No, not that. Like, I'd get like a bunch of blood like behind my face. Like, I don't know how to describe it. Like right behind my nose, like under my eyes, just feel like really hot and warm.
Yeah.
And like pulsy. And like you described earlier, like whoosh,
yeah,
like that, but like
you get that in your face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah, man. So
tingly.
Yeah, I'm definitely a gentleman smoker. Well, maybe not so much gentleman, but definitely a tobacco smoker, pipes and cigars.
Mm-hmm.
Not fucking cigarettes. Fuck that. And then, coffee.
Mm-hmm.
It's good shit.
Yeah, man.
And then the occasional beer or drink.
Well, that's what really got me into smoking cigarettes a decade ago. Was I never smoked cigarettes, but I hung out with a bunch of people that did. And they'd be like, hey, man, you want a cigarette? And then I'd be like, okay, sure. And then I was like, every time I was smoking a cigarette, I was having a conversation with strangers, having a conversation outside of a bar, inside of a bar, and then all of a sudden I was meeting all these people, and then I started buying cigarettes, and then I was just like smoking cigarettes all the time.
You got into the culture, bro.
Yeah.
The bar culture.
And then just being, and it was very much a social thing.
Yeah.
And then I remember having roommates. I'd be like, we'd all kind of be doing our own thing. Mm-hmm. I think the AC turned on, something like that.
Just went up as AC or rain.
Oh, yeah. But then I'd be like, hey, man, I'm going to go smoke a cigarette on the patio or the porch. You want to join me or whatever? And then I'd be like talking to somebody out there smoking cigarettes instead of like us being in our own rooms or like watching TV, not saying anything to each other.
Yeah.
So that's what kind of kept me on. That and just being in the food industry, because you get no breaks, but you get a cigarette break.
Such a wonderful incentive there.
Yeah.
It's like, let's make the job even worse.
Yeah.
That's funny.
It's good times. Young life. Young adulthood.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I still feel like I'm a young adult.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think... probably say you're adult around 40. Like
you think so?
Adult. Yeah.
I guess, man. Got a lot of stuff going on.
And you get into like your 50s and it's middle age.
Mm-hmm.
And then mid-60s senior.
Then you're senior.
I don't know. It's whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Not important. I don't care. Live till I die.
Just gonna make it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, life's good, man. It's a blessing.
Yeah, it is good.
Glad to be here. I gotta always be grateful. Rolled high, man.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, Central Texas, like, we're getting everyone's coming here.
Yeah.
So the opportunities are about to increase like crazy.
Yeah, man. It's like gold rush. It's like the new world. Yeah.
Pretty much get all the tech people here. We get all the comedians coming in here. So there's no excuse really to
all the podcasters coming in.
Yeah, a lot of...
what is it? Lex moved. Malice is moving.
Yeah, media personalities. Mm-hmm. So It'll be good. It'll be good for us. It'll be good to get a job. You know, I'm looking into getting into the healthcare industry where my brother works, just because it's got the most opportunity.
Yeah, that'll be good, man.
So it should be all right. I mean,
especially like Asian population.
It's definitely so. Like the industry is growing. I haven't looked into the business itself. I mean, it's a nonprofit Catholic organization, so and they must be working well because they got a whole lot of people, a whole lot of places. Hopefully that doesn't bother anyone that I'm a fucking heathen sorcerer.
Nah.
So I'm not gonna.
Who's gonna ask?
I'm not gonna bring it up in the interview.
Yeah.
So
they'd be like, have you accepted? I don't think they could legally ask you if you've accepted.
No, they wouldn't. It'd mess up their EEO.
Yeah.
Of course, that didn't stop McCoys from doing weird Christian retreats with my grandma. So that caused her to get fired and stuff, but some bad blood there.
That don't make no sense.
Well, they scheduled a company retreat,
but
they didn't broadcast it as a Christian retreat, even though McCoy's they brand themselves as a Christian company.
Okay.
And my grandma doesn't do churchy shit, even though she is a believer in faith and all that stuff, but she doesn't like the way other people spin it.
Right.
Or way very few people spin it.
Yeah, because I don't need anybody getting between me and the Word of God.
Well, she's got some pastors she enjoys, and even some friars and whatever. But yeah, she doesn't like the way a lot of people do. Because a lot of people, I mean, it's the super tribal stuff. Give us your money,
right?
For
pass the plate around.
The Lord of Jesus, blah blah blah.
Don't ask no questions.
Yeah, you're gonna be part of our church here, part of our group.
Right.
Yeah, it gets. I've never joined a church. I'd love to join like a heathen church if they had one. Be cool to go worship somewhere.
Yeah.
But I just have to make my own temple, my own home.
Yeah,
my
dude.
Own room.
Make a Satanist church.
Not Satanist.
No.
So I did pick up. I got some Anima Sola cards. The Lonely Soul. It's a Catholic thing because there's a whole lot of saints to be used in the various pursuits in witchcraft and the occult and sorcery and whatnot. So one of the practices listed in the Chaos Protocols is having an altar to the dead and doing offerings. And he recommends the lonely soul is the souls trapped in purgatory that you pray for.
Oh, okay.
To find salvation or move towards the light. And in a lot of these traditions, you pray for them, and then these souls get attached to your own. You both pretty much work towards salvation together in a way, but basically like the shamanic spirit allies. So you pray for a soul to get out of purgatory, and they kind of like get attached to you, help you with your stuff.
That's cool.
So I got 2 cards actually. I think it's a 2-pack. I could get the statue. I was like, no, I'm gonna start with the statue because it could be a shitty, Chinese statue or something.
Yeah.
So I got 2 Spanish Anima Sola cards. And I'll probably start doing rituals with that soon, or just offerings. Start an ancestor altar as well.
Brutal.
So I picture my dad and maybe some of my family.
And go catch some rabbits.
What do you mean?
Animal sacrifice.
I'm not there yet.
Heard that.
So eventually, maybe. I mean, I can leave an offering of like a plate of spaghetti for my dad because he liked that. We used to cook together or something like that. But basic offering for the dead is just cool spring water. So light a white candle, cool spring water, say a prayer. And that's get you started.
Easy.
So and that's just for like the ancestors. If you do other spirits, you can do different offerings. Basic candle for light, incense, cool water again, and then maybe some other libation or something more substantial like a liquor.
Yeah, I know we normally would offer tobacco and coffee beans.
Coffee.
Ground coffee, yeah. I
always think that I want to like pour my first sip of coffee in my backyard, but I never remember because I'm like half dead still.
Right.
So, because that'd be a bitchin' offering. Coffee and cream because it's delicious. I know Mother Nature would like it. But yeah, I got those in, so I'm excited to try that out.
Hell yeah, man.
I've been doing the headless rite, which is just an invocation of the headless one, of Orion essentially in the sky. Man, it's been brutal, bro.
How so?
Well, I've done the rite twice, and the second time I did the rite I had that depression and stuff going on, and like everything started way heavy. It's like I gotta get my shit together. So it's it's just bringing up the bullshit, man. You know. Plus, part of the ritual, you also invoke the four kings of the directions, and I think they're demons. So it's partly demonic as well.
Heard that.
So there ain't no bullshit getting away from that. So, but it's this alternative suggestion to doing a full-on ayahuasca ceremony.
Oh, okay.
It's like to make yourself invincible, which is the name of the chapter. You can either do the heavy psychedelic ritual, which is why I want to do the big dose,
the epic dose.
And so the next best thing is to do the headless rite, or you can also do acts of taboo, cultural taboo to break your programming or something like that. So another one he says is from another book. I don't remember which one. It says you can light a candle before bed 3 nights in a row and recite the Lord's Prayer backwards. So
that sounds hard to do.
I mean, you'd probably write it down first and read it.
And then read it.
Yeah. No, I don't have any of my rituals memorized. It's all out of the book.
Heard that.
I mean, if you do them enough, you can start memorizing them. But I haven't done them consistently enough in the past 6 months to memorize them. Because I've started doing new rituals, so I can't wait to see what kind of manifestations I get when I get back to my daily practice.
Yeah, I need to start writing down my dreams. I've been having a bunch of crazy dreams lately. And I remember they'd be like really vivid. But then I just start getting up and doing stuff, and I can't remember shit. I just remember like a color or like a background or something like that. Like, what the fuck was I thinking?
Yeah, I had a dream about you the past couple nights because I think I was thinking about the podcast a lot. It was just like, I can't even remember what it was, but it was something funny.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. Yeah.
Game over, bitches.
Yeah, guys, I think we're just going to call it early tonight. Thanks for hanging out with us. If you've been with us for these past 16 episodes, we really appreciate it.
It's been a beautiful 17 weeks, guys.
It's been a good learning experience for everybody here. Catch us next week. Look for the Machiavellian Monkeys podcast.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah, find us on YouTube and any of the regular podcasting websites.
Boom.
Later, guys.
Cheers.